It's pure fire pillar. So I would say that I think before we reach the year, it's better to consolidate or maybe get ourselves prepared using what we have this year so that it will help us next year. Okay. Yeah, I think the it's a little bit like FOMO this time because it's gonna be pure fire next year, right? And coming few years after that, very, very strong. Even this year is a very strong fire already. Next year, even stronger. And the following year is also very, very strong, right? So I would say the coming 2 years, I think if you ask me, I would pay a lot of attention in terms of what we can do now to help us the coming two years. Okay, that I would say. So I'm just going to analyze just based on what wood element is for you guys. Okay, what wood element is for you guys, because I would say if you want the wood element, if you need the wood element, right? It's best for you to leverage on it now so that it will be easier for you in 2026. And of course we want to layer in some animal style so you can because some animal stars will be doing not very good. Example, like this year the horse is going to be this year the horse 2025, it's actually pretty decent. So for those who have the horse this year, it's pretty decent year, right? But next year it's going to be a little bit challenging. Okay, only because it's Grand Duke. And I would say challenging, not in a bad way, but you need to get yourself extremely prepared. Because again, with the Grand Duke, with the General Star, you need to hold on to a lot of authority, a lot of power, and a lot of challenges in general. It's not bad, but if you're not prepared for it, and if you don't leverage on what you have this year, it's going to be very difficult for you to do very well in the horse year. And I think this applies every year. That's why we always want to see, in a transition moment, like now, review time, what can you do more? Okay, and we're going to review today just based on Day Master. You can actually review this based on animal science. You can actually review this based on your Day Master. Okay, so now let me see. Does it mean if I have wood in my bazi, meaning it's lucky? No, it doesn't mean that. But wood will be resource for 2026. So fire will be few and the strongest. Fire in 2026 is going to be extremely, extremely, extremely strong. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Okay. So I would say that I would say that if you need a wood element, I think this year is a good time to actually just grab it on to look at it. But most importantly, what can you do lah? Okay. What can you do? Now, let me open up my deck because I actually prepared this. There are a few things that you can actually, let me pull myself down. Here you go. Ta-da! Okay, so now let's go it by Day Master. So let's focus. I mean, you guys can ask questions. I'll take a look later if you have any other questions. But let's look into just by Day Master. What can you do? What can you do right now if you haven't already done so that you can get yourself more prepared for next year? I would say the first one. Oops, what is this? Let me take my notes. Okay, first one I'm referring to is the Wood Day Master. Any Wood Day Master here? Anyone? So Wood Day Master means your Day Master is either a Yang wood or a Yin wood. Okay, the Yi and the Jia. So if you have the Wood Day Master, okay, this is under your category lah. Okay, so again, guys, take this as a form of review, right? If you have done it, great. If you have not done it, please tweak it and focus at doing it. Okay, so we still have time to actually do the things that we have to do and leverage on so that we can move forward. Okay, got Jia here. Yes. Okay, so this is applicable for both Jia and Yi. Yeah, so I classify them under one Day Master. So I would say for the Wood Day Master, okay, this year itself, I think this year is a companion star for you, right? You're seeing actually a companion star, and next year itself is output. So next year you won't have the companion star. It's not there for you anymore, okay? In the year, right? So I would say if there is to wrap up anything, or if there is anything for you to do right now so that it can help you in 2026, is about the people. So this year itself, you got to ask yourself few of these questions, okay? And this is one of the few things that you can actually leverage on this year, yeah. Of course, depending on what is your objective, right? Like, if you want to achieve something, or you want to achieve a certain goal, depending on what it is, you want to make sure that the people is where you're going to. Meaning to say, like example, if you're a Yi and a Jia day master, you want to ask yourself this question: have you gotten to know more people this year? Right. And I know probably you will think that, oh, I don't like it, I don't want to go because I don't like to socialize. Okay, and maybe you will think that, oh, I'm a wood day master, but I never see or never meet anyone this year. Okay, I would say it's going to be a missed opportunity. Because why? I think the people and the network that you gain this year will help you a lot in the coming 2026. Okay, why is that so? The wood element, right? Whenever they try to use the output, they will use up a lot of energy. Okay, meaning to say, if the wood try to use output, a lot of time they will self-sacrifice. They will burn themselves. Okay, and that is how the fire actually grow. So the more the wood day master trying to produce, trying to output, the more it is going to use up their energy. Okay, which also means tendency for the wood day masters to get really burned out next year is higher than this year. And if that happens, question is, this year, have you made enough connections? Have you spotted people who can really help you for next year? Okay, so the reason why this year you probably want to leverage on certain connection is so that they will be able to help you execute, or maybe physically do something, so you get supported next year when the output year comes. Because whenever the wood tries to use the output, it's always very exerting in energy. And of course, if you got energy, great. But if you want to go faster, having a companion star, which what you have this year, is able to help you carry forward. So I would say, if it's anything, okay, if you plan to, like, okay, next year you have this great idea of what you want to pursue, my question to you is this: have you built any good connections this year? Or if it's not connection, another question is, probably, have you done a very good recruitment? Or maybe have you identified good talents who you think will be able to help you? Okay, so have you known these kind of people? Because this year is companion stars. So it's very important for you to spot all these things this year, so that again, next year you'll be supported in your execution, in your ideas. Okay, now the next one, probably you want to ask, do you know anyone who could support you in terms of skills, in terms of resources as well? People is an incredible asset. So wood day masters, if you are wood day master, ask yourself this question: is this something that you have done throughout the year, or you have not done at all throughout the year? Yeah, so if you're thinking like, okay, 2026, I want to do this and do this and do this, you have to understand, okay, you want to prepare ahead. Whatever you've done or meet now, build that foundation, build that network, build that connection. And then 2026, this kind of connection will be able to help you execute and produce a lot more work for you. So you get supported, so you don't get too burnt out. Okay, right? Literally burn out, because fire is too strong, right? Fire too strong, you kill fire too strong, it kills everything, basically. Okay, so another question, maybe, have you convinced people to follow your vision? Okay, because companion star is about influencing your friends, influencing your peers. So have you done any of this year? So if you haven't already done that, okay, probably you want to start thinking about, okay, should I do it? Yeah, maybe you might think that there's no use right now, right? But it's going to be very useful next year because the wood element next year is don't have at all. Okay, but for you as a wood day master, this is a very important component because all the wood day master have to use the friend and the Rockwell star. Okay, and then only they can output better. Okay, so the output could be a lot of things, right? And remember, the output leads to what? The output leads to wealth. Okay, so indirectly, I'm saying that the companion star, if you do well this year, if you actually found the talent or the people or to support or somebody to support your vision, it will indirectly help you in your wealth generation in 2026. Okay, this is for the wood day master. So think about it, whether this itself align to what you can do for you. So this is the only few months left. You can focus on this if you want to ever focus to something. Okay, just don't waste the year itself. Don't waste the year. Okay, it's time to re-strategize. If you've been distracted, you can re-strategize again. Now, the next one is the Fire Day Master. Any Fire Day Master around here? Any Fire Day Master? Give me a show of hands. Any Fire Day Master? Any Fire Day Master? Fire Day Master? Anyone? Hello. I got a new setup today. Anyone fire? 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 Ah. Okay, fire. Fire is quite interesting. Okay, so fire, and next year is fire. Very strong fire, right? Next year. Strong fire. A lot of fire. I realize in the metaphysics world, there's usually a lot of fires around. Okay, so fire, extremely important. Because this year, so fire, we always like fire always like resource. And the past few years, I would say for 4 years, fire, the Fire Day Master has been facing or seeing resource for many, many years, which is if you are a Fire Day Master, if you followed me for the past 4 years, I've said it on and on and on. Dear fires, absorb like a sponge for these coming 4 years, because after 2025, no more resource for you. And as a fire, it's so important to have the resource. Okay, because only with the wood element, then the fire can ignite. But what does it really mean? Okay, what does it really mean? So the wood element, the resource star, actually means, dear Fire Day Masters, have you actually learned anything new? Okay, this is extremely important. So I'm not just saying in terms of 2025, sorry, 2025. I'm talking about throughout, like since 2022 to 2025. Now, even better if this year, if this year, and if you have a horse as well, this year you actually go and study or learn new things. It's extremely important. And it's very, very important that the things that you've learned, can you carry forward? Okay, can you carry forward? So another thing is, did you get any certification? Okay, so you ask yourself, any of the fire guys, have you done any of this? Have you gotten any proper certification? Have you got a form of knowledge base that is actually supporting your income? Have you done that? Okay, so there's many years, there's 4 years for you to actually play this out. Okay, and the next year is where the test is coming. Okay, so have you practiced your knowledge? Right? And even if you have studied so much, because fire people usually they love to study, and even though it may not be necessary for them to study a lot of things, but they would like to just study everything. But at this point, it's probably very important to ask yourself, okay, have you decided which path of the things you learn you would like to carry forward, you would like to explore deeper and use that in your practice? Okay, in your practice. Wow, beautiful course in AI. Love to learn. Okay, I know a lot of Teng Fire or Peng Fire. Actually, they learn a lot of things. Okay, I think this few years, a lot of people learn a lot of things, but even more so for Fire Day Master, it's extremely, extremely important. And next year, because it's like the pure fire year, it will be very important for you to use your knowledge, whatever you have learned, okay, to start building and convincing people and testing out your knowledge to people. Okay, basically it's about bringing people together with your knowledge. Now I would probably think that if, depending on which stage you are in your career or your life, whatever you learn, meaning to say, if you got learned, I hope you do, okay, next year will be a very good year for you to actually use them, okay, to build something, or maybe build a team, or maybe build your own side gig, or maybe build your own fan base, or maybe build a certain form of, like, say, fundraising, anything to do with bringing your knowledge to accumulate and consolidate people. Okay, and the thing is, if you don't do what you're supposed to do this year, which is to accumulate your knowledge, you don't have anything to bring people together. Okay, you don't have anything to bring people together, so nothing will spread. So what will help you to connect to the people is the knowledge. Okay, so it will be way easier if you already have something that is going on right now. Okay, right now, capitalize the knowledge. Correct, capitalize the knowledge. Okay, so it depends, but the key here is people. The key here is how can you use them to convince people what you have, or maybe to build a certain things, certain people, community. I don't know, depends on what is your knowledge. Okay, depends on what is your knowledge. Okay, but you need to have something to offer. Now, usually the trend is when you have a certain level of knowledge in a typical career context, right? Usually we'll see, like, maybe you'll be a leader, right? Because you have certain knowledge, then the people come under you, then you can, like, become one of the top leaders and stuff like that. Yeah, it's possible. Sometimes it could also means that with the certain knowledge and qualification, you probably be going to a bigger space with a lot of people, which is the friend and rob wealth. Okay, but you need to have the quality of it, which is that expanded knowledge. So this year, if you're a Fire Day Master, ask yourself this: do you have the knowledge? Have you learned? Have you applied? Have you decide which direction you want to explore? Because fire being fire, they like to learn everything. Sometimes relevant or not relevant, also they don't know. They just want to learn everything. But now the next question is, if you want to carry forward the knowledge and convert it to something useful and something practical, you have to decide on certain direction. And next year, you will see, you will need to decide that. But most importantly, you have something to carry forward. So those fires who don't go and learn new things and don't pick up new skills, or maybe pick up skills that is not relevant to what they do, are probably a bit challenging, unless you pick up something that is not relevant to your day job. Then you're going to start something new on yourself. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Okay, but bottom line is that knowledge is so important, what you have learned. So it's time to, like, crystallize and consolidate. Okay, it's time to crystallize and consolidate. Okay, now next one is the Earth Day Master. Now this is actually one of the very interesting one, because I've seen the Earth Day Masters quite a little bit this year, and I've seen so many different type of responses for the Earth Day Master. So for the Earth Day Master, this is anyone Earth Day Master here, by the way? Anyone Earth Day Master? Yeah, let me know. Okay, let me know, Earth Day Master. Okay, so Earth Day Master generally means that if you are a Earth Day Master, okay, or a Ji Earth Day Master. All right, so you see your 八字 chart, you see the Wu Earth in the day, and you see the Ji at the day, either one. Okay, so you are either one of them. Now, I would say that the Wood Day Master for the Earth Day Master is very interesting because the having the Earth Day Master, having the Earth Day Master in 2024 and 2025 is not comfortable at all. Okay, for those who are Earth Day Master, okay, let me know what you experience, because from what I can see, what I know as well, the Earth Day Masters for the past 2 years is not comfortable. Okay, because the earth, the tree is always fighting with the earth element, especially if you're a Wu Earth. Okay, but I would say if you have done the right thing, if you have thought it through, your reward is this year. So last year probably you don't see a lot of reward. Last year was very painful. Maybe the reward comes in this year. Okay, so for the Earth Day Master, I would say for the past 2 years, it's really a time for them, or for you, if you're Earth Day Master, it's for time for you to learn a lot of leadership skills. Okay, what does leadership skills means? Meaning to say, how do you play with power? How do you manage power? How well are you managing with power and authority? Okay, how well are you making certain decisions in a very difficult way? Right, so probably you'll be pushed into a certain position, because being a leader, it's not very comfortable. And being a Wu Earth, being a Wu Earth, they don't like that feeling one. They don't like being Wu Earth. Generally, they do not like power too much. Yeah, Wu Earth or Ji Earth. They generally are not very comfortable. Wu Earth more uncomfortable than Ji Earth. But generally, if we talk about leadership per se, right, the best is always the Jia Wood. But when it comes to Wu Earth, they are quite and usually quite resistant to it. So for the past 2 years and last year and this year, I would say it's going to be quite challenging for them. So usually they'll face a lot of leadership issues. When I mean by leadership issues, could be a bit like maybe the boss issue or work issue. Anything has to do with leaders, basically. And maybe they themselves struggle in the leadership role. Okay, either one. But I would say that's why it's not comfortable, because a lot of challenges. Okay, a lot of challenges. That's why it's a 7 killing and direct officer, right? So good news is if you have overcome them this year, most likely you will get the promotion, most likely, or the career advancement in another company, either one, or maybe a larger role. But it requires what? Leadership. Yeah, so it was like a test for the few 1 year plus 1.5 year, and then probably around now, or maybe few more months later, you probably see the effect of it. But that is when you have already like overcome or managed to learn that leadership. I know many Wu Earth who is also refusing still and going against the role of leadership. That is going to be harder. Now, why is this again so important? Like it or not, this year, you need to learn that leadership skill. You need to come out from your cave. All right, literally, right? You are the earth, right? You need to come out from it. You cannot stay within there. Which also means when you are a leader, you need to learn to make difficult decisions. You need to be proactive. You need to come out and support your team. Take initiative to solve problems, even though it's very difficult, and you probably know the solution, but you don't want to get involved. It's possible, but I know that is because you're resistant for it. Okay, right? So this is about Wu Earth. You got to come out, So it's also very important, Wu Earth this year, is to pick up all this discipline. Is to pick up all this discipline, because when you have a certain leadership role, you need that discipline, right? Again, why is this so important? I can tell you why. Next year, if you have managed to cultivate or embrace this leadership role, congratulations, right? If not, you still got time. But if you have already done it since like last year, 2024, congratulations. 2026, right? It's going to be a little bit more helpful for you. Okay, because in 2026 fire is so strong. When fire is so strong, it is the resource star for the Earth Day Master. So you yourself will go through very, very, very strong fire. Okay, now very strong fire means what? And very strong resource star. Possibly you get a little bit more comfortable, you get a little bit more complacent, in a words, lazy, or maybe you don't want to care anymore. Okay, now that is a problem if you don't already have that leadership skill, or if you don't cultivate that discipline, or maybe you don't have a certain position. Now that is going to be more difficult. Okay, so I think it will be more helpful if you are aware of, okay, I've learned the leadership role now. I have a bunch of people who I need to take care of. And okay, I got a certain responsibility that I need to do. And coming next year, when things are a bit more laid back, hopefully with the discipline, hopefully with the leadership role, you don't get too complacent. You don't get too like say, okay, I don't do too much, because resource star that comes in next year as a fire, which is a pure pillar, so pure resource star, is gonna be like very laid back, very lazy. Yeah, it is gonna be that. Okay, so that is not very good in terms of if you're still working, and then not great. Now if you're not really working, you don't care, I think it's fine, because resource star, you just want to be lazy, it's okay. But if you are still making money, if you still have responsibility, I don't think this is great. Okay, so remember, you need to ask yourself, if you are an Earth Day Master, have you done all of this? And it really does take Earth Day Master to come out from their comfort zone to actually do this. Not so much of a G Earth. I think Wu Earth a bit harder, because Wu Earth really don't like to take the lead one until they are forced to. And usually you need to crack open the cave, and then only they will do it. Otherwise, they choose not to. Okay, so yeah, you ask yourself, this year, have you done that? Okay, so if you are Earth Day Master, you get promoted or whatsoever, or you get a bigger role. Now next year, you got to be very careful as well. Don't get too complacent. Yeah, resource star, don't get too comfortable. So remember, what have you done and take for you to come to this stage? Remember that. Okay, don't get too comfortable with things, because resource star does make people go lazy, and we don't like it when Earth goes really lazy. Okay, we don't like it because it's too much. Okay, with too much. Okay, so this is for the Earth Day Master. Now let's move on, okay, to the Metal Day Master, guys. All right, so any Metal Day Master people, any Metal Day Master people. My brother-in-law is a Wu of DM, will be becoming a grandfather. Oh my god, upgrade. Yes, yes, yes. Any Metal Day Master around? Metal Day Master. Now, I'm a Metal Day Master. Mm. Sin Metal. Mm. Okay. Metal Day Masters. Okay. What can you do? Work hard. I hope you've been working hard throughout the year. Okay. So generally, for Metal Day Master, it's quite frustrating. Okay. Okay. For Metal Day Master, it's quite frustrating. I mean, Sin Metal is still fine. I think Keng Metal is not very. Keng Metal don't really. Keng Metal, well, if you're in my advanced class, right? You know that Keng Metal, they prefer to see the Jia than the Yi. Okay. So Keng is not really good with the Yi, more better with the Jia. Anyway, that aside, right? So question is this, right? This year, it's so important for the Metal Day Masters to be very, very hardworking. Now, when I mean by hardworking, it means you need to make money. You need to focus at your job. Okay. And why is that so? Yeah, you may think that, okay, so next year, no wood element for Metal Day Masters. Okay, all right. So I would say enough. Metal Day Masters for the past 4 years, you have very strong wood element, right? So I hope you've leveraged on that. And I think coming next year, I think the Metal Day Master would need to play a different strategy. But this year itself, it's the last year with the Wealth Star as a Metal Day Master until the next one probably come in the 2027, 2026, 2027 thing. Wait. Okay. So 1 year you don't have. Okay, 1 year you don't have. So what does it mean for the Metal Day Masters? Metal Day Masters generally this year, what you can do to help you in 2026 is you need to work very hard. Work very hard and improve your relationship with money. Learn about money. Okay, so work very hard, as I also can, I'm not sure you guys can see. Okay, work hard, workaholic, or explore with or without money, additional source of income. Okay, so you want to like spread your wings and try to get as many source of income as possible. Doesn't matter. Most likely is pretty small, unless it's for the Sin Day Masters. Sin Day Masters is a bit different strategy, but it's also about spreading yourself out. Okay, it's also about spreading yourself out to get additional source of income. Okay, means you can spread like you don't do a little bit of things here and there. So it's generally not like a little bit of things. It's you need to do quite a few things. And not only that, the Metal Day Masters, have you built that experiences? Meaning to say, Keng Metal and Sin Day Master, you need to probably just get involved in whatever you are doing to build that experience, to get that money basically. Okay, so have you done it this year? Okay, why is this so important? Now, because next year, Peng Wu, okay, it's an influence star for the Metal Day Masters. Okay, doesn't matter if it's a Keng or a Sin, right? So when this is the case, right, you know that as a Metal Day Master, you know that the wealth opportunity will not be as straightforward anymore. You need to use the influence star. Okay, so question is, to use the influence star, you need to have certain base. What is the base? Have you planted the seeds yet? Okay, means you don't start to plant your seeds when the year comes. You want to start doing it now. You start planting the seeds first, and then as you build on more and more experience, what you are actually doing and preparing for next year is building certain form of credentials to show people that, oh, you know what, I've done this before, I've really prepped myself for this. Because influence star as a form of opportunity could be projects, could be certain form of connections that, hey, these guys are trustworthy. Because influence star at the end of the day is a title or it's a role, right? But you need to have certain credentials. You need to be awarded with that. You need to have certain experience, right? So if you are a Metal Day Master and you haven't planted your seed this year, even though there may not be a lot of money or may not have any money, but have you learned from that experience? Have you done it before? If you haven't put yourself out there and show people that, hey, you know what, I'm doing this, the influence star will not be able to come in. Even though if they come in, you will not be able to leverage it so much because you have nothing to offer. You have no experience to talk about. Okay, so it's very, very important to just do it. Okay, now for those who have been very, very hardworking, those who are the metal day master, you've been doing, good job. Okay, good job. Okay, means if you are exploring something new, you've been focusing on making money, even though there's not much money, good job. But next year, your strategy is going to be very different. Okay, because it's not so direct anymore. The strategy is relying on the influence star. Okay, so if you do it well this year, at least next year, you can really rely on the title. You can really rely on the high network or the company or the big projects that you can get. Okay, because you have certain experiences already. You have done a certain work. Now, how well or how good the quality is depends on your overall chart. It depends also on how well you have done the work this year. Okay, but bottom line is if you're a metal day master and you have done nothing this year, nothing means you have done the same as the same every year. It's not going to be beneficial next year, because next year it's a new fresh opportunity that comes in seeking for something new that you have done. Okay, so this is the things that you can do right now. If you're a metal day master, work on it right now. You still have time. Okay, you still have time to actually work on this. So remember, the idea is to spread out. The idea is to do little bit things here and there. It doesn't matter if it's low value or high value. Great if it's high value, not great if it's a low value. Remember, when you want to be workaholic in terms of making the money, not just doing the job. Okay, that's very important, right? So you focus on that. That's what you can do right now for the next coming few months. Okay, now this is for the metal day master. Just focus on this. Okay, so that's what also we are going to focus on. Okay, the next one and the last one is the water day master. Okay, any water day master here, guys? Any water day master? Any water day master? Right? So let me see. Water day master. Water day master is pretty good. I like water day masters. So water day masters, all right, water day master this year, the big question is this: have you been perfecting, tweaking, producing products? That's the question, right? Why? This year the water is actually the water day masters. We are looking at the output. So generally, I think it's quite a good year to leverage on if you yourself are always struggling to produce something new or always are afraid to try something new and things like that. I think this is a perfect year if you have thrown yourself out there, if you have created new products, okay, or maybe are still perfecting your product. Great. I think this is the few things that you can do right now, or maybe innovate, right? Because creating is it's not just one product. You can produce many products. Okay, and the idea is not just to create them, but the idea is to improve them constantly. So having an output year it's very fun usually, because you will just produce, but while you're producing, right, you need to be very mindful. Is your product good enough out there, right? So that's why you want to ask yourself, have you done innovate anything new, even if it's failed, or created something new? Maybe it's a new project, or have you learned the new skills that you've been doing out of fun or passion, right? So it doesn't always have to relate to money, but I would say if you have been creating things, if you have spent some time just out of passion, or just plan to do something new, created something new, a new project, a new system, anything, right? And of course, if it's better, if it's related to your job, it's going to be a very good year in 2026, because literally 2026 is a pure fire. Pure fire for water is actually a pure wealth. Okay, so what does it mean by that? Now, wealth star always come because you have something to offer. Okay, So if you this year as a water day master have been perfecting your skills, okay, or maybe have been tweaking your products, okay, have been learning how to deliver your product to the audience, because sometimes you know what, like I call myself like the artist as well, because we create courses, we create structures of workshops, we create training syllabus and things like that, right? And these all are part of an output. And I can tell you from experience, we will never get it right in the first time, because maybe the product is not suitable for that audience. Maybe in terms of delivery, the product is not great, or maybe in terms of the product value doesn't make sense, you know. So it's about producing it and tweaking it. Now, this year is a very good year for you to just produce it, tweak it, produce it, tweak it, and perfecting your craft. Okay, perfecting your craft. I would say this is the best time for you to do it, right? So why is this so? Next year, 2026 come in, that is where the opportunity of wealth come in. Okay, now, of course, again, you need to have something to offer. Okay, because what happened most of the time, and every time when we see a good wealth year, but if you do not have anything to offer, or maybe your product is not good enough for the market, is not solving any problems, maybe your product is just, you know, something that you love, but it's not solving any problem, so it will make you some money but not great money. Okay, so ideally, if you are a water day master, look at what you can do right now. Look at what you can do right now. Produce something for yourself right now. Okay, so you only got like a few months left, right? Like 6 months. Okay, right? Look at it. Any projects you can do, or I don't know, you know, name something. And who knows, right? And I can tell you that it happens, right? It happens quite a bit sometimes. Like uh, I think a client of mine randomly took up like baking classes, right? Random, just out of passion during don't know, pandemic time or something, right? Then got really free, so learn baking and cooking and stuff like that, and then now started selling the cakes and cookies. So this is what I mean by sometimes a certain skill set can turn out to be an additional income as well. Is it possible? Yes. Okay, it's possible. So what I mean is that when you can do something now in order to help you next year, this is it. Okay, now of course, provided in a wealth context, we are talking about, okay, you want to make more money, probably this will help you. But usually when it's a output and wealth, it's usually a very wealth generating focus year. Yeah, usually. Okay, and I've known a lot of water day masters, right? Like last year and this year, they started new business. Yeah, quite a number. Like it's quite a pattern. Yeah, and there's a lot of people started their own side gig as well, right? So a lot of them actually water day master people, and I've consulted quite a bit of them as well. And I would say if you are the water day masters, if you have been focusing a lot on perfecting your craft and learning how to make your craft better, and then monetization comes in next year. So you got to learn how to monetize as well, yeah, by the way. Right? Opportunities are there. The problem is when people don't catch it. So what I'm sharing here today is all the things that you can do right now. Okay? All the things that you can do right now at this point in time. Okay? So we don't need to be too focused into 2026 just yet. Okay? I think we still have time. Okay? We still have time. So probably yeah, about 6 months, right? So by end of the year, probably around December, like now, so give yourself about 3 months. I can guarantee you one thing: you take that few action, by December, you will see the outcome. Yeah. Okay. By December. Yeah, it's going to be that quick. A little bit of outcome, because as we are approaching 2026, we will already start to see a little bit of effect of the 2026. Yeah. and most likely is the red month, which is December month. Okay, so don't need to be too focused yet on 2026. Okay, but I'll soon be talking about 2026 as well, right? But more on a general perspective, the whole year part. But I think at this point there's still a lot more that we can do for 2025. Don't give up yet. Okay, because in order for you to learn something new and to execute something and to plan something new, or maybe to review and change your strategy, we still have the time. Okay, we still have the time. Okay. Okay, someone asked about the wood. Okay, this is the wood. This is the wood. Okay, this is the wood. If a chart has a lot of water, could it be favorable next year? Okay, good question. Water Day Master must be partner with Fire DM. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Water, anyone can partner with anyone depending on what they're looking for. But yeah, so if a chart, I think this is a good question. If a chart has a lot of water, could it be favorable next year? Okay, I think this is something that a lot of people ask as well. Like next year, right? Because next year, because the fire is really, really strong. So there are a few things that I'm not going to talk too much about it because I didn't prepare for it. But since you're asking about water charts next year, the answer is yes. Okay, so generally, if you have a more water chart, okay, it could be better compared to very fire chart. Okay, now what I mean by better, better in what way? Now, better in terms of the emotional side. Caveat, exception, if you have a rat in your chart, is not applicable. Okay, because the rat as well is very strong water. Okay, so if you have like the monkey, right, and the dragon is okay, the water in there, it's okay for the chart, and next year will be fine. But if you have strong water that comes with the rat, disqualified. Okay, because at the end of the day, the horse is still clashing with the rat. Okay, the horse is still clashing with the rat. Okay, somebody wants to flesh out the fire. So let me find the fire chart. Okay, this is for the fire. Okay, so for the fire, remember, get yourself certified, get yourself a knowledge. Just do that. It will help you for the next few years, lah. Trust me. Don't have to think too much. Okay, make sure it's relevant. Okay, so yeah, coming back. So 2026 is about that, lah. So generally, if you are very, very strong fire, 2026 even more strong fire. So I would say health wise need to be very careful. Yeah, health wise need to be very careful. Emotional wise need to be careful, because again, whenever there's too strong of a fire, right, it's very impulsive one. Okay, very impulsive, right? Unless you have a, yeah, so so yeah, so I know, like, even for people like us, like we have very strong fire chart. Okay, so that could be an issue as well, but it's okay. Like we say, time comes and go. The idea is see how you can manage the energy. Okay, now let's see yeah, so very emotional year, definitely. Okay, if you ask me, yeah, so water will be great. Water will be great, but not too not red. Okay, gotta be more careful with emotions and feeling. Peng but weak. I have more fire. I have more water than fire. Okay, that's good. That's good. So if you are generally a weak fire, having more fire is quite good. Yeah, it's okay. But there's a lot more to talk about 2026, I think. I am also still doing a lot more research, but generally we kind of know politically the global forecast. We kind of know what's going to happen global forecast wise. Yeah. I mean, the global forecast wise is quite predictable already. One, it's never going to be too far apart from what happened in the past few years. There is a repeated session, repeated in the past, because humans are that predictable. We don't learn from our mistakes, especially if you're talking about the bigger group of people, which is 80% of the world. We don't learn from our mistakes. So whatever that happened in the past on the Pengwu and the Tengwei, it's still going to repeat on, honestly. It's just different times. It's going to repeat in a different way. So the outcome is also going to be different. Okay? Outcome is going to be different. How about if the earth and fire is equally a lot? Yeah, okay. So whenever fire is strong, earth is also very strong. Because they fall under the same seasonal support. So again, if it's fire strong and next year is fire strong, okay, let's put it this way. 八字and metaphysics is like a picture. So I hope you can imagine this when I'm talking here. So if you imagine earth and fire is very strong, right? Can you imagine like earth being the soil, earth being the rock, and fire is so strong, and next year comes out more fire, what will happen? Imagine the rock become very dry. Don't you feel like it's very constipated? Literally, so when I mean by constipated, the human also going to be very constipated, meaning you feel stuck all the time. Literally. So it's also like physically very dry. Yeah. So it depends. Usually I would be very cautious about emotions and health, if you ask me. And I think overall is going to jumble up, like everybody is going to get very stressed, because financially it's not going to be great for sure. Stability is also not great. So it will come out as a form of emotions. It will come out in terms of stress. It will come out in terms of health problems. So as you can see, it's like a repeating pattern. And unfortunately to say that when time comes, this is something that we cannot avoid. That's why I always say, we only have to care about ourselves at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what happens in the world out there. That is part of the big majority is going to handle it, right? But most importantly, whatever that's going to happen out there, we need to focus at what we can do ourselves. Like your parts of the chart, what can you do? Because we cannot avoid what's going to happen next year for sure. Yeah. If you say now has a lot of fights and arguments and wars, I mean, we are just the very beginning. I suspect more and more problems are going to appear, because I think ever since the eclipse started, right, which is September, for those who attended Cindy's session, she talked about all the problems that happened during the starting on the eclipse. Now that was just the very beginning, like appetizer. Yeah, we see how the riots happen. We see how like how could we don't see these kind of things happen every year or every day. Like within few days time, a bunch of young protesters can turn over a government. And yeah, it's quite creepy, Yeah, and then somehow like Russia, North Korea, China, everyone is together, like a show, all these things. I mean, these things doesn't happen all the time, and it's happening right now. Okay, so it's going to be quite interesting. Yeah, but most importantly, you have to do what you can do. Like I said, the problems like financial crisis, yes, it's going to hit. I can tell you guys at first, you whatever everyone's going to say, yeah, financial crisis is going to happen. That's 2026 confirm. We don't need to ask anymore. It's confirmed. And then and this is not just what's happening to you, but it's happening in the whole world. So we are not excluded from it. Even me, everyone else. Of course, if you are at a higher income group, maybe your problems will be less, right? Your stress, well, depends. The stress is there, but it's just a different level of stress. Your stress may be of higher value compared to a stress of a lower value is the same. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, that's why how resilient we are, how are we going to pivot, how are we going to adapt to the changes. And as I would say, if I recall, by 2027, okay, in one of our advanced class, I think I showed that in 2027, if we follow the I Ching, that's when the line will change. That's when we will come out from this phase after 2027. If you ever wonder, like, when are we going to come out from this phase? Yeah, so basically, before the stability of period 9 comes, the storm will hit first. The volcano, not storm. Volcano. Okay? Yeah, so just focus at yourself. We are still here 2025. Don't need to worry yet. When we do 2025 well, 2026 will be better. Okay, and I'm also saying this for ourselves, okay, because we are constantly pivoting as well, no matter what we do. And the problems are all just the same. Everyone is unable to cope with the stress. And chicken and egg. People respond, people react, and other problems will come in. Don't have fire in natal, but luck pillar is pure fire. Is it considered I have opportunities? No, not really. But if there is a pure fire, meaning to say most likely is the Fu Yin. Okay, meaning to say most likely the pure fire is Peng Wu. Next year is Peng Wu. It's just a Fu Yin. Okay, it's just a Fu Yin. Now, what more opportunities? Well, opportunities for you to reflect. Okay, opportunities for you to reflect. Basically, it's just that. Okay, right? Are you guys interested in knowing about 2026 animal signs? Just let me know. Let me know in the chat box. 2026 animal signs? Are you guys still interested with animal signs? I'm not very sure. Not very sure about animal signs. Or maybe 10 gods. I'm not sure. Or maybe just like you guys are just interested. Just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do, or just tell me what's going to happen to the world. Honestly, the world is not going to be very nice. So sometimes I like I was in this debate. Maybe you guys can tell me. I was in this debate, like in a year of 2026, right? In a year of 2026, when things are not great, right? When things are not great, in year 2026, when things are not great, okay? Would you want to be the leader, or you choose to be the one at the back of the scene? This is my question. Because again, whenever times are bad, whenever things are not great, it's always a great there's always a good opportunity, right? Right? When times are bad, there's always a good opportunity. Isn't it? But sometimes there's this debate, right? Wow, but times are bad. Sometimes you don't put yourself out there. You just stay at the back and then you lay low in the radar so that you don't get chopped first. Okay, so let me know what you think. Would you want to be at the back of the scene, or do you want to be at the front who take the risk? Take the risk and lead. Because there's two opinions here. You know, some people will like say, oh, since it's like a great opportunity time, some people would like to be the one hiding. It's like, okay, let the people in front take all the hits, right? And sometimes some people say, oh, this is a great opportunity. I am the problem solver. I go out, I start a new thing, you know. So we have these two kind of sets of people. Which I sometimes think like, I also not sure, but bear in mind, observe what is the opportunity. Observer, back of the scene, at the back, leader. Everyone is giving different answers. Interesting. Nothing to lose. Being the So funnily enough, I can tell you guys one thing. Based on your answers, you are just reacting based on who you are as your chart, most likely. Most likely. Yeah, most likely. But I don't know, even for myself, right? I would say most of the time, we probably need to see to be safe, we probably need to see the chart, lah, I would say. Because some charts can take it. Some charts are better in front, some charts are better at the back. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing wrong to be at the back, nor there is anything wrong, or nor there is good to be at the front. But I think it's so important to know that whether you play a better role at the front or at the back. So sometimes you need to see, right, whether you are better in which location, I would say, right? But it is a time of very, like, this is still a debate, right? I mean, at the end of the day, but this is, it's interesting, some people can really, like, during these times, whenever times are really really challenging, we can really see how things will turn overnight. Yeah, and I think this is exactly what period 9 is. When 2024 kicked in, everyone are given the same playing field, in a way, because technology is so advanced today. Everyone is given the same playing field. Mm. So it's no longer like the AI is only limited to military, or the AI is limited to only certain people. Now AI is free today, what else can we say with the kind of knowledge we have today versus that we used to fight for in the past. So I would say that especially during period 9, yeah, this is when things will really just flip very quickly. So same goes to how even we are reading charts, or how we are evaluating situations, or how we are coming up with solutions and strategy. And it has to be very period 9, I would say. And personally, I am still trying to figure that out clearly. I wouldn't say that I'm very, very sure as well, because we are still at the very infant stage of period 9. But I was educated as a period 8 student in metaphysics. So a lot of my experience has also been very period 8. Like, we have to grow and adapt, right? Okay. How do you read the animal branch influence? Okay, animal branch influence. There are many ways to read it. So if you're reading in terms of forecast, usually if in forecast, every year, every animal sign, they will be visited by different stars. So the stars will actually move and visit different animal, and the stars itself has certain influences. So the influences itself will affect you, your strategy, your opportunity, and your challenges. Yeah. So you just need to understand what are the stars that are visiting your animal this year, and what are the stars that are visiting your animals. What are the stars that visits your animal next year? Because it changes every year. Nothing to lose. Great. Wow. Being a generator, betul. Is it similar to our current PMX who is taking over the government? Let's see. I don't know, but current PMX is actually doing quite a very smart job. And if you're Malaysians, Malaysian listening to me right now, okay, great, because Malaysia actually just came into a new 10-year luck pillar last year or this year, somewhere there. I think last year, PMX came in last year, right? The new Argo came in last year, right? So it was last year. So the moment when we came into the new luck pillar, everything flips. It's going to be quite a prosperous 10 years for Malaysians. Yeah. And as predicted and as seen as the Malaysian chart, diplomatic relations are going to improve very big time. We're going to have a lot of investors are going to come into the country. Now, what's the implications about that? I don't know. Okay. But bottom line is, if we are to say that, if are we safe in the country? If you are Malaysians, I think comparatively to many parts of the country, we are pretty safe. Yeah. Yeah. Comparatively to many parts of the country. as long as you're within the East and the Southeast Asia, I think you're pretty safe. Probably the West is not going to be that great. And yes, currency is the currency for USD is also going to continue to drop. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so it's quite interesting. Okay. Wow, I very like today's session. Very interactive. Oh my god, I over my time already. Goodness, that's the problem. Okay, you cannot talk to us, 八字. Okay, we're gonna like talk for 10 hours. Okay, now guys, since it's over my time and I see no more questions. Okay, good. So for those who have joined in, like I saw there's few people who just joined in. Don't worry, this video will be here still for 1 month. And then it will be automatically taken down. And if you don't want to listen to too many of this talking and responding, you can view back at the very first segment whereby I've talked about as a day master, what can you do right now? Even if you haven't done it yet, you can pivot. Even if you have already done it, maybe you can tweak and see, or maybe you've done it correctly, you can continue to do what you're doing. If you've done it correctly, keep on with the work. Okay? Don't worry too much about next year first. Worry about the next year's political drama, lah. I mean, not drama, but being nosy, right? Yeah, but don't worry about it too much. Focus on what you can do for yourself right now so that you can do better for yourself next year. All right? Hi, Michelle. It's going to end soon. Okay? All right, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Again, please do like our post, click, because the algorithm is going a bit crazy. So you need, and I need you guys to respond to our posts, to like our posts, to click, because otherwise you won't be able to see our updates. Because the algorithm works that way. You need to like, right? So be generous with your likes. If you want to see more content of ours, you need to engage with us. Okay, just a reminder. Right, because we're going to be coming out with a lot more things from this season on. All right. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Good night. Thank you. Bye.